Dead Island 2 has been in development since 2013 after Riptide, and we all know the story, most of us by now, that it's been through development hell. It's had multiple restarts and developer changes, but Dead Island has some questions that Webtus want to know, we've been wanting to know since Dead Island Riptide came out in 2013. It makes me sad knowing that that is going to be 10 years ago. Next year, 2023, 2013 will be 10 years. That makes me really sad to see how much time has gone by. But anyway, Dead Island has some questions that a lot of us are probably want to know and hope that are answered. And the first question is, what happened to the hacker known as Kevin and the native woman of Benoi known as Irma? Like, in Dead Island Rather Light campaign, we find out Irma is the source of the infection. That was really interesting at the time. And also in Dead Island, we found out Karen is Kevin, the hacker. So, yeah. This is the first and only time we see him in Dead Island Riptide, Irma and Kevin. And as we know, the reason why the boat got infected, spoiler alert, haven't played both games, is because Irma is containing the virus, and she bit that soldier, and he died. And we all know what happens when a zombie bites someone. So yeah, that's something I want to know. Like, what happened to Irma and Kevin? I know they were minor characters in Riptide, but it would be really nice to see what happened to them. And this is the only thing that we know that possibly happened to them.
Just be careful. We don't want them dying on us.
What about the native woman, Yerima?
That's a more complicated case. She's being taken to another location.
Don't worry, I'm keeping a close...
Thank you for coming back for us. I am so very sorry. I lost faith in you.
How are you feeling?
A-okay, Doc. Never better.
I have a little headache, but otherwise I'm perfectly fine.
This Serper. Yeah. He won't be bothering us anymore.
What about Harlow? We couldn't help her. Yeah, she decided to stay.
Authorities in Banoi and Palanai report that the crisis is over. Life is slowly returning to normal as rescue crews clean up the aftermath of the monsoon that swept through the archipelago. All travel to and from the region is still prohibited as the rescue operation continues. Rumors of a possible plague outbreak have been discredited as international relief organizations continue to assess the situation.
All aboard, kill abroad, leave a bloody, soak the stain, won't play games.
The second question I want answered is, what exactly happened to Sam B, the female character I play as? I can't pronounce her name, but she worked in the hotel. Perna, Logan, and John Morgan. I know this answer is probably obvious, that they possibly mutated and turned to zombies, and because for those who didn't pay attention, I'll play this part that Perna says.
I have a little headache, but otherwise otherwise I'm perfectly fine. I have a little headache, but otherwise I'm perfectly fine. I have a little headache, but otherwise I'm perfectly fine.
What Perna's saying she had a little bit of headache, that means she died first. The mutation. Doesn't matter which character you played as, they both took the mutation. And that means Perna mutated and turned into a zombie first and infected everyone else. So, these characters are pretty much dead, most likely, but there is something that kind of is confusing, unless it's not canon. In Escape Dead Island, the female character that I play as, the hotel clerk, or wherever she is, I can't pronounce her name, the sword lady, she actually survives and lands on, I think it's a different island in Escape Dead Island, but I'm not sure if that's canon. But all I'm going to say is it looked like she actually survived and got off the boat or something. But like, I hope she survived. She is my favorite, but I don't think Escape Dead Island is canon. So what happened to these characters? Like, did they most likely turn because of the mutation? I would love to see these characters come back as bosses, like have them like have their own weaknesses and what they do to the new protagonists. So yeah, I don't want these characters to be just disappear. I want to see what exactly happened to them. Anyway, moving on. What exactly happened to Benoit and Palanai?
Authorities in Banoy and Palanai report that the crisis is over. Life is slowly returning to normal as rescue crews clean up the aftermath of the monsoon that swept through the archipelago. All travel to and from the region is still prohibited as the rescue operation continues. Rumours of a possible plague outbreak have been discredited as international relief organisations continue to assess the situation.
So pay attention to that radio saying, according to that, Benoit and Palanai are returning back to normal and rescue crews are happening. But they mention a certain word about a certain plague, discredited, and that means to refuse to accept as a truth or accurate. So they're basically denying that there was a plague. And they claim that they're sending rescue in. I don't believe that. We'll find out what happens, but I want to know, like, did they go in there and just nuke both islands for real? Like, that's something I want to know. Or did they actually get rid of all the zombies and they are actually rescuing people and covering it up the truth? In the next few questions, I hope they tell us what happened. Is how many months does it take place? Like, what exact like months does it take place in? Because on Wikipedia it says set several months after the events of Down Riptide. And we all know instead of an island, it takes place on Los Angeles, California, which has been quarantined due to the zombie outbreak. The question is that I want to know, how does this start? Like, how does this plague end up? I'm pretty sure we're going to find out, hopefully. Since it says it's set after several months, it's going to be weird playing Dead Island 2 in the year 2011, something that's going to be 12 years ago next year. But to be honest, 2011 is a much better time than what we're living in now in this new decade, and also better than 2021, 2022, and 2023. Most likely. I don't see this decade getting any better, guys, like, and girls. Like, I really don't. But anyway, that's a topic for another time. And the final question that I hope is answered is, how will there be any new zombie types? And I think this one's the most likely yes, and how is the virus going to mutate in this? Because I'm really interested in see what they can come up with for mutations, and I wonder, is there even going to be a cure in Dead Island 2? And the last thing is, how will the mutagen play a part in this game? Because I think it's coming back, but who knows? But those are my questions that I hope are answered and get on to. What do you have that want answered? Leave in the comments.